The man in the attic, I've never been able to forget the house. It was a sharp, white two-story place 8 miles out of town, with nothing around it but a long road and dense forest. My mum, Sarah, worked as a teacher in the city, and I was 16, homeschooled, and alone for hours each day. I hated being alone there. The house was old, and there was something wrong with the attic. My mum and I had never gone up there. It was just unsettling. The way the staircase creaked when I passed it, the cold draft that always seemed to come from the top. The shadows cast by the attic windows felt alive, like they were watching me. And at night, the nightmares would start. Sometimes during the day, I'd feel like I was being watched. I'd hear things too. Footsteps, whispers, the curtains in the upper rooms shifting by themselves. But it wasn't until that one evening that I realized just how bad things had become. I was sitting on the couch watching TV when I heard it, the unmistakable sound of the front door opening. My heart stopped. The house was silent, except for the sound of my breath. Slowly, I looked toward the staircase. There was a shadow standing at the top, just staring down at me. I froze. I grabbed my phone, trying to stay calm, but I couldn't look away from the figure. I rushed to the door, my hands shaking. I didn't even grab the keys, just ran outside into the cold. I didn't look back, but when I reached the yard, I glanced at the window, and that's when I saw it. The figure walking down the stairs, moving too slowly, like it was toying with me. I ran to the fence, climbed over it, and sprinted down the road. But as I looked back, I saw the curtains in the attic moving, gently, like someone was watching me. My heart was racing. I dialed my mom's number, but she didn't pick up. In that moment, I knew I couldn't go back in. I had to get out of there. I headed toward the diner, shivering from the cold, feeling like I was still being followed. It took about 15 minutes, but when I walked into the warmth of the diner, I felt a little better. I went up to the counter, my voice trembling. "There's a man in my house." The woman behind the counter raised an eyebrow. "A man?" He was on the stairs, and then he moved the curtains in the attic," I said. She didn't waste any time. "We need to call the police." I quickly dialed 911 and told them everything. But the police didn't arrive for over an hour. When they did, they went straight to the house. I watched from the diner window as they entered, guns drawn. They made their way up the stairs, and that's when the man appeared, pale, wearing a grey shift and holding a knife. He darted down the stairs, but one of the officers managed to chase him out of the house. The second officer was able to call for backup, but when they arrived, the man was gone. They searched the house and found strange things in the attic. Stashed food, makeshift bedding, and a notebook. The pages were filled with disturbing thoughts, but one part stood out. "I will make them fear me. The boy will see shadows. He will be alone in the house all day. He will be afraid to go up there. And when his mother comes home, they'll feel safe, but not for long. I will come. I will enter their rooms, and they will learn their worst nightmare." It turned out that man had been living in our attic for weeks, watching me, waiting for the right moment to make his move. That night, my mum and I decided we couldn't stay in that house anymore. We moved to a small apartment in the city, hoping we could escape whatever had been haunting us. For a while, everything was fine. I felt safe in the apartment, and Mom and I settled into a routine. But a few weeks ago, something changed. It started with light knocks on the door. At first, I thought it was just the wind, but the knocks were too deliberate, too soft, too regular. Then one night, as I was walking to the bathroom, I heard them again, soft thuds on the door. I peered through the peephole, my heart racing. And there, in the darkness, I saw a silhouette. A figure standing in the shadows, knocking silently on the door. I couldn't move. I knew who it was, the man from the attic, and I knew deep down that he wasn't done with us.